my fellow Americans. If you think you know politics, think again. I'm Michael Cohen, and every week on When You Know, we're pulling back the curtain on power, politics, media, and the people making headlines. On my new WABC radio show, you'll hear conversations from names that you know. People like Jerry Falwell Jr., Anthony Scaramucci, Alan Dershowitz, and many, many more. Maybe, just maybe, we'll even hear from the president. No scripts, no spin, just real conversations with people who were in the room where it happened. And trust me, we've got some very big surprises coming. Look, I've spent years at the center of politics, controversy, and power. I know the players, I know the stories, and now I'm bringing you inside. When You Know, Sundays at 5 p.m. on WABC Radio, and When You Know Unleashed, wherever you get your podcasts. Because with me, you never know who's going to show up.
Want to elevate your travel experience? Here's how. With a Delta SkyMiles Reserve American Express card, you can relax before your flight in the Delta Sky Club with up to 15 visits per medallion year. And now through July 15th, 2026, you can earn up to 125,000 bonus miles, so you're closer to your next adventure. The Delta SkyMiles Reserve card. Check out the new design at www.delta.com/Spotify. Minimum spending requirements and terms apply.
The James Golden Show on the Red Apple Podcast Network.
Hi, Mr. Mayor. How are you?
I'm doing well. How are you?
Fine, thank you. Can you please address the controversy that has developed over the city's immigrant enclaves list? Do you believe that there are neighborhoods that were left off that list? And if the city plans to add more, which other neighborhoods do you think should be added?
Yeah. So this map was initially created by the prior administration in 2023, and when we inherited it, we added a few additional neighborhoods. It's clearly not an exhaustive list of the more than 200 ethnic communities that call our city home, and we're going to be making additional changes in the future to reflect that, and that includes adding Little Italy to the map. Oh, Little Italy. Yeah.
Yeah, you're going to add Little Italy. Welcome, my friends, to the Friday edition. I can't believe it's already Friday edition of Bo Snerdley's Rush Hour. Fastest hour in American media. I guess the blowback hit hard. This city released a list of all the ethnic neighborhoods, little Somalia and so forth, little Haiti, little Nigeria, little Istanbul, little whatever, and they left off Little Italy. And I'm going to tell you something, it made people really, really upset, especially when you consider the Italian-American contributions to New York City in particular. It is interwoven, the history of Italian-Americans with the history of New York City. And for this, and of course, you know what he does, politicians are, well, the previous administration, he did not say that the previous administration left off Little Italy. I would be surprised if that were the case. He said they put together a list. Deflection. You know, a member of his staff wanted to meet with somebody in Iran and had scheduled a meeting, and the State Department caught wind of it and shut that one down. There's a lot going on with this Mondami administration in New York, I tell you, besides trying to take the property that doesn't belong to them of landlords and dispense with that. He had a big presser the other day. He announced that there were going to be speeded up buses. And throughout the whole thing, I kept saying, where's the free buses? Where's the free buses? Where are the free buses? He ran on free buses. Nobody's talking about the free buses anymore. Now he's all about, we're going to change all the regs so that the buses run fast. What about the free buses? You promised. Where's all the rest of the free stuff you promised, Mr. Mondami, by the way? I mean, yeah, they got government workers can get daycare at one of these multi-gazillion dollar daycare things he's hooking up. They're spending on for illegal immigrants under their sanctuary policies. They're screwing the city's landlords, totally screwing them and others. But even Mondami has an idea that I think is, I have to say, even Mondami has an idea once in a while that I think may have some merit. And listen, cut 8. Listen to this, ladies and gentlemen, and tell me if you agree with the mayor of New York about this issue.
Today, I am proud to announce that we are taking this work a step further with 2 new rules that we are enacting under the authority of our Consumer Protection Law. First, we will be launching the nation's first ever click-to-cancel rule. Because if you can sign up with one click, you should be able to cancel with one click. Second, we are enacting a new junk fees rule that will require fully transparent, all-in pricing. That means no additional costs, fees, or charges after you've already made that purchase. Together, these laws are estimated to save New Yorkers more than $162 million per year. And for any who have built a business model on hidden fees and exploitation, consider this to be an official notice. If you violate either of these rules, you will be held accountable to the tune of $525 per violation. And just like those junk fees, I promise it does add up, and it does so quickly. New Yorkers have enough to worry about without these kinds of hidden costs weighing on their minds. No longer will our city be a playground for those who think they can make a quick buck on the backs of hiding this kind of information from New Yorkers. City government will instead be standing alongside New Yorkers who deserve to know what they are paying for, businesses that operate ethically and transparently like so many across our city do, and against those that harm millions of working people. Thank you so much.
Yeah, okay. Now, this one click in your subscription deal or in your purchase, I see you approve of this, Carlos. I see you saying you definitely approve of this. Is that, do I have it right?
Sometimes it's really hard to unsubscribe from stuff.
Exactly. You and I think half the world that has bought things online on subscription and then you don't want it and you go to cancel it and they take you through 90 steps and try to tire you out or make it so confusing, and then you have to do this or send this here and wait 5 weeks and send this there and get a signature and promise your second born maybe if you didn't fill out the first. Enough of this crap. As he says, if it takes you one click to say, yeah, I buy it, should take another one step to say, I unbuy it. Cancel it. Get me out. No, thanks. I'm done. I think that this one is an idea. Now, as for these junk fees, I don't know. It's what does transparent mean? For instance, if you buy apps, a lot of apps have in-app purchases. They say it when you buy the app. There are in-app purchases. Every time, now if you're like some people I know, as soon as you see that, you don't buy the app because you want everything for free. But if you buy something and it says in-app purchases, your head always goes, I wonder how much they're going to actually charge me for this free thing that says in-app purchases. And so you have to download it. But here's the thing, you don't have to use it. If they charge too much, get rid of it. Or just look for something else. So I don't know. But anyway, I think that he's got a home run with this one-click get-out-of-it deal. I think he screwed up with Little Italy. And he should apologize. He should have apologized to all the Italian Americans that felt slighted when they were left off the list. He just said, hey, I'm sorry. Bad call. Somebody made a bad call. I didn't do it. Now, we got black stuff today. What do you mean, what? We got black stuff today. We got to do the black stuff today. We got, if I don't do it, who's going to do it? We got black stuff today. So here's what I want to do. I want to do the black stuff because then we got other stuff besides the black stuff. But the black stuff is primarily about Democrats, which is why I want to do the black stuff. So let's do the black stuff today. Now, you know this guy, first of all, Jasmine Crockett. She's still in Congress. January comes, she'll be gone. She did something the other day, again, talking about how she's not going to go out and campaign for Tallarico and this, that, and the other. She doesn't have to hold his hand. And blah, 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 and how much she's done to help down ballot people in Texas and how great she is and how racist the race was. But apparently there's a problem that's happening with this Texas race. Jolanda Jones Sounds like she could be a movie star. Jolanda Jones. Jolanda Jones is complaining. She was on with my friend, and I haven't talked to him in a long, long time, Roland Martin. He and I are friends. But I haven't talked to him in years, I don't think. But I still consider the guy a friend. Roland's Roland. But Roland had Jolanda Jones on his extremely successful, by the way. He's a very successful podcaster, busting it out. And Jolanda Jones is upset with what's happening down in Tejas. It involves black stuff. So let's listen. Cut 6, Jolanda Jones. And here's Jolanda.
Do I think that Tallarico's refusal thus far to engage black electeds and the black infrastructure has put him at a disadvantage? Absolutely, because there's not a lot of time to try to rally us. But we actually had a meeting today, Roland, earlier today, where black people, black thought leaders, elected officials from Dallas and Houston met, and we are getting together and we're going to stand together. And hopefully Tallarico and the Texas Democratic Party will see that and they will listen to us, because Tallarico is giving out money to white GOTV organizations and white infrastructure, and Hispanic infrastructure, but he's not giving it to black infrastructure. And so either they'll listen or they won't. Again, even though I knew I could lose votes, I did it anyway, because sometimes in life you got to pick a side, and I need to know if the Texas Democratic Party is going to pick our side. I did speak with
Now, let me explain what's happening here, because it bears some explanation. Miss Jolanda Jones complaining that the Democrats, Tallarico, and the Texas Democrat Party is spending money on white GOTV and Hispanic GOTV. You look puzzled, Carlos.
What's
Is there some GOTV? Get out the vote operations. That's your walking around money. That's the money that very often nobody can account for, but it goes in people's pockets around election time, and they spend a lot of money. Politicians, especially Democrats, spend a lot of money with GOTV, get out the vote operations. In fact, in Los Angeles, they were getting out the vote operation with homeless people, paying them for their votes. Oh, yes, that's under investigation right now. But down there in Texas, apparently the Democrats are giving money to white GOTV. They're giving money to Hispanic GOTV. And they ain't giving no money to the peeps. And Jolanda Jones mad about it. Jolanda Jones said, y'all are not giving us money. And what is that money? That money, she even mentioned Roland. She said, they ain't spending no money with you. You're an influence. Look, folks, this is actually true. This is legitimate. And this happens every election cycle. And it's not, I hate to let me just be totally honest about it. It's not just the Democrats. Republicans have less reason. Because, frankly, a lot of black people don't vote Republican in the numbers that would merit heavy spending. They should do it anyway, as a way of procuring the vote and showing the voting base that they are that they want your vote. But Democrats take the black votes for granted, so they feel like they don't have to spend money on black media, because guess what? Where are they going to go? We don't have to spend no money for them. Where are they going? And Jolanda Jones and others are upset that when it comes to spreading out the walking around money, the walking around money is going to white infrastructure, it's going to Hispanic infrastructure, but it's not going to black infrastructure. And that's just one part of the black stuff story. We'll get to part 2 a little bit later on. Part 2 is this. In Politico, Southern black leaders warn their power is on the line and Democrats are looking elsewhere. But, we may get to that today. We got other stuff to get to. Anyway, let's take a quick break here.
The James Golden Show on the Red Apple Podcast Network.
Get ready, Staten Island.
The Ferry Hawks are back at SIUH Community Park July 7th to the 12th for a 6-game series against the High Point Rockers. Tonight, first pitch is at 6:30. It's Thirsty Thursday with $5 Bud and Bud Light Drafts. Friday, July 10th, first pitch is at 7 p.m. May the Force be with you on Star Wars Night with post-game kids glow around the bases with special lightsaber training packs.
Visit ferryhawks.com now to lock in your seats.
The James Golden Show.
Entertaining and informative.
On the Red Apple Podcast Network.
It should not be controversial to say death to U.S. imperialism. The United States and the Israelis started a war with Iran by assassinating their head of state. The fight for a better world starts with fighting U.S. imperialism on any front where it might rear its head. It starts with withdrawing U.S. forces. It should not be controversial to say death to U.S. imperialism and death to U.S. empire. This should be the moderate position. As always, though, salamu alaikum, and have a great day.
That is the head of Philadelphia's Democrat Socialist of America. His name is James Ray. Shouldn't be controversial. Death to the United States of America's empire. We started it by assassinating a president. This is what the socialists are begging for. By the way, the other black story, I'm going to move to tomorrow. I got too many things I want to get here. We got the big one, the money, follow the money. There's another one in Politico today, but we'll do that tomorrow. Now, here is the deal. The guy, there were two guys so far that are heading up looking like they might be the replacement for Plattner. There are going to be more. But one of them is often mentioned as Troy Jackson from Maine. He was on PMS Now. I think it was Katie Tur was on. Anyway, listen to his cut 5. This is the guy some Democrats want to take over. Here he is.
Well, let me ask you about Plattner. You supported him. You bragged about being one of the first supporters of him. Why did you stick with him for so long? Why did you stick with him after the Nazi tattoo? Why did you stick with him after the New York Times article and the aggressive women stuff? Stick with him after the Reddit posts that were arguably racist and sexist? I know he denies the sexual misconduct allegations, but why did you stay with him for so long?
Well, the Nazi tattoo and the Reddit posts, I mean, I didn't know. I mean, I haven't even ever been on Reddit. But, when people talked about those things and he turned around and said, that these were times whenever they were dark for him and, he'd grown and all this stuff. I mean, they were, a different time period for him. And I understood, that people can change.
The way he should have answered the question. He just should have said to her, "Why did I stick with him? The same reason you stuck with him, Katie. The same reason your network stuck with him. The same way every Democrat stuck with him. We wanted him to win. You too." And just be done with it instead of all the homina stuff. We'll be right back. Don't go away.
The James Golden Show on the Red Apple Podcast Network. The James Golden Show.
Entertaining and informative.
On the Red Apple Podcast Network.
Let's go to L.A. There was a big warehouse fire there a few weeks ago. Huge warehouse fire. Steve Hilton is on the ground talking about what the neighbors have been experiencing ever since the fire. Cut 9. This is Steve Hilton, who's running for governor of that state, California.
So what you can see behind me is the aftermath of the warehouse fire in Boyle Heights in Los Angeles. What you can't see is the smell. The fire is out, but this whole area stinks of rotting meat. Stinks. Ew. It is absolutely disgusting. And the residents around here, after not being able to go out for days and days and days because they let the fire burn, now they've got this disgusting smell of rotting meat. Karen Bass has ordered the company to clear out the rotting meat. Get this, in 45 days. 45 days. That is absolutely unacceptable. And you know why this is happening? Here are the words from one of the residents here about the response of the authorities to what happened here. Officials didn't pay attention to them because they were poor and Latino. That is exactly what's wrong with California. On issue after issue, it's the poorest people in our community who get hammered with the gas prices, the housing costs, the electric bills, on and on. We've had enough. It is time for change in California.
Okay, on and on. We've had enough. And you know what? Karen Bass had the audacity, the gall, the unmitigated gall to go to the neighborhood and hold a meeting with some of the residents there, where the pervasive smell of rotten meat lingers from the moment they wake up till the moment that they put themselves in the bed, and lingers through the night. I wonder if that guy in Indiana that chopped off his what's-its and burned it, I wonder if, no, never mind. But I mean, come on, I'm just wondering if that also smelled like rotten meat. But it's not something I really want to contemplate. Anyway, ladies and gentlemen, Karen Bass, the Los Angeles mayor, faced the people in the neighborhood where the smell of burnt, rotten meat just lingers. Yes. And she said, her rules, we're going to let it stay there for another 45 days. The company has 45 days to clear the rotten meat smell of your neighborhood. This is a portion, an excerpt, if you will, of what that meeting was like when Karen Bass actually showed up to meet the people.
Let me straight up apologize for any confusion, miscommunication, and information that was put out, especially at the beginning when the fires were still going on, especially anything that I have said. Whether or not the smoke was harmful or not, I am very clear that all smoke under all circumstances is harmful.
Apparently, she told the residents that she didn't know whether the smoke from the fire was harmful, and they took offense to it. Not only the smell of burnt meat, but the smoke smell itself. Oh, I'll tell you, not good there. Okay, let's move on down the tracks, ladies and gentlemen. We are covering so much. Let's move out to Minneapolis. Here's a news report I think some of you might be interested in regarding Fahima Muhammad. That is cut number 12. Let us start with the news about Fahima.
5 months after she shut down her daycare, booked a flight to London, and was arrested by the FBI.
Ms. Mahmoud, are you here to plead guilty today?
50-year-old Fahima Mahmoud admits she committed daycare fraud. Running Future Leaders Early Learning Center on 36th and Chicago Avenue in Minneapolis since 2015, Mahmoud collected the most Child Care Assistance Program, or CCAP, money in the state last year at $3.7 million. In federal court while entering her plea, Mahmoud and her attorney specified that there were children attending her daycare and that she has receipts. But the government didn't accuse her of inflating attendance at her center during the swift investigation that followed the attention in Minnesota placed on daycare fraud. Instead, the FBI learned from families that Mahmoud did not charge them the required copay to receive CCAP money, which provided incentive for more families to sign up. By pleading guilty to conspiracy to defraud the United States, Mahmoud admits receiving $4.63 million in taxpayer money with that scheme.
Ms. Mahmoud, any comment? Are you going to be able to pay back any of the money?
That's not all. Mahmoud also admits taking part in the Feeding Our Future meal fraud scheme, claiming to serve up to 60,000 meals per month to needy kids out of her daycare, fraudulently collecting another $850,000. Court papers say she diverted much of those taxpayer funds to buy real estate and go toward her other companies, like this autism center, which has generated another $3.1 million in taxpayer reimbursements over the last 5 years. What the government will seize when Mahmoud is sentenced has not yet been determined. And sentencing will be slightly complicated because the judge can go as low as 2 years in prison or close to 7 years in prison if she puts the daycare fraud and the meal program fraud terms back to back. Rena.
Now, Lou, they used a different kind of prosecution.
Here's the deal. I just want to say one thing. You have people in this country, in our beautiful, wonderful United States of America, whose families have been here for generation upon generation. And some of those people whose families have been in the United States for generation upon generation upon generation claim that they are being oppressed and that they have always been oppressed. And because of one reason or another, sometimes it happens to be the amount of melatonin in their skin, that they will always be oppressed because that's what the nation is. And you have all kind of excuses. Why generation after generation after generation, despite the fact that there are all sorts of pathways to education, why there's a startling lack of education. In fact, we just had a report, New York City schools, half of them are failing. And you look around and you see all kind of people saying that they can't exist without subsistence from the government. Why? If we don't have government spending increase, we won't be able to eat. We won't have our SNAP benefits. We won't have our crackle or our pop. We won't definitely have the SNAP. We may get the crackle and the pop elsewhere, but we won't have the SNAP. Yet you have people who come here from lands that are destitute, from lands where they have nothing. And they come here, and within years, they have figured out how to make, not just set up a business, but then scam the business so that they can become multi-millionaires. Now, this woman, Fahima, and others, nothing stopped them from running a legit business. And they would have probably still been millionaires, but at a much lower rate, but they would have been successful. They figured out how to do it. And you have people here that cannot figure out at all how to make it work. It is quite distressing, ladies and gentlemen, quite distressing. Now, moving on. Ladies of The View got into a shouting match, cut 4, and here we are with that. Go ahead, just let it roll.
I'm saying that these people... I hate it when I hear you say that it's got to be like a white man, because I then feel that it becomes like a self-fulfilling prophecy, and I don't want...
I'm not that powerful, Anna.
No, yeah, but you've got millions of people watch us on a daily basis, and you are a feminist. You have fought to break glass ceilings.
She's also a realist.
I know, but what I'm saying is I'm not going to tell little black children or little Latino children or little girls that they can't run and become president one day.
And by the way, in all likelihood, but then can I say something after?
I am not saying that. I am saying that we are in a burning building right now. That's all I'm saying.
That only a white man can save us from that?
I'm talking about winning. What is this country going to do when they really get down to it?
And by the way, I do think today
the future, it belongs to every child, every color, every nationality. Great.
But what you're saying is what? That the only people that can save us from the burning building is a white man?
Do consider
only a white man can get it?
That's the argument. Melanin, not melatonin. Thank you. Nursey Nurse corrected me. Little melanin. I get it mixed up. I'm sorry. Thank you, Nursey Nurse. They probably got some melatonin in their skin, too. Melanin. Thank you. Speaking of melanin, the argument that Joy Behar was putting forth was that, hey, I guess they need a white man to win it out in Maine. And Ana Navarro took issue with that. You telling little black children, little Hispanic children, little girls that they can't win? Joy Behar, no, I love the little blackies. I used to wear blackface once in a while. She did. I love the little brown ones. I love the little girls, but they can't win elections. The house is on fire. We need a white guy. You see, my friends, where the real institutional racism is? It's in the brain cells. It's in the mindset. And for a change, now, there's not much you're going to get me to agree with Ana Navarro on. Not much at all. But this idea, what you need is a great candidate. And it shouldn't matter whether that candidate happens to be a male, who are they trying to defeat? In Maine, they're trying to defeat a woman who has been in office for decades now, Sue Collins. The only thing that we need to beat the woman is a man, I guess is what Joy Behar is saying, and the rest of them. Folks, these people on the left, the more you listen to them talk, the more you really understand what goes on in the cuckoo brain and in the brain cells. It's amazing. If a Republican had made that argument that only a white man could win, they would be calling him every kind of white supremacist in the book. But if Joy Behar makes the argument, well, she's just being a realist.
The James Golden Show on the Red Apple Podcast Network. The James Golden Show.
Entertaining and informative.
On the Red Apple Podcast Network.
When she was on The View a little bit later on CNN, facing off with Carolyn Sunshine. Oh, by the way, Scott Jennings and Carolyn Sunshine got into it. That's for another day. Anyway, here's Ana Navarro and Carolyn Sunshine.
It's happened, but there's been now at least 5 people killed by ICE in the streets of America. Ruben Rey Martinez, they killed him, young man, they killed in San Padre Island in Texas. Silverio Villegas Gonzalez, Keith Porter, they killed him in L.A. Renee Good and Alex Petty, they killed them in Minnesota. And now Lorenzo Salgado Araujo. There's been
Do you know the names as well of Americans who've been killed by illegal immigrants? Do you have that list?
I know
too?
some of the names. I don't have the list, but I do know some of the names.
What are their names? What are some of their names?
Listen, we have heard all of the names.
No, what are some of the names?
This is not me doing a contest of whether you know the names or whether I know the names. I want to pronounce these names because I think we need to put names and faces and stories. Right?
Absolutely.
Okay, so
and to the faces
when you want
of Americans who have been killed by illegal
the people they
killed,
the people they killed don't have criminal records.
What are their names?
The people they killed.
Jocelyn Nungare, Kate Steinle.
And what are the names of people that have been killed by U.S. citizens?
How is that relevant to this?
Well, you want to start talking about people who've been killed, then let's start talking about people who've been killed in this country. So there's a hell of a lot more people that have been killed by U.S. citizens than people who have been killed by illegal aliens. And that's not what we are talking about right now. We are talking about a government agency that is out of control, killing even American citizens, killing immigrants without a criminal record, that are not the targets of the investigation, lying about it as they have done, and there being no full investigations and accountability.
This is the incident that took place down, I believe, was it Tejas the other day? In Houston, I think it was, yes. And there are conflicting stories. There always are. The ICE people say that, and there's video of the van eluding the ICE agents. Now, I haven't seen video of what transpired, so I'm not going to weigh in on it yet. But as usual, we're getting the judge and jury and execution by the left, Ana Navarro. They're guilty of it. They did it. Without any sort of trial, of course. And never is there an answer to that question. Can you just as easily go through the list of all the American citizens that have been killed by illegal immigrants, since you're bringing up illegal immigrants? That's not the issue here. 2000, the year 2000, Coldplay released their debut album, Parachutes. 4 singles came off of it: Shiver, Trouble, Don't Panic, and this one. yellow. We got to do mellow and break it on out of here like Jell-O. May God bless, protect each and every single one of you, your families, your loved ones. Love and gratitude, my friends, for your being here with me and allowing me to be with you. God willing, almighty God willing, we're back in the morning, very early at 7 a.m. for the Saturday morning extravaganza.
Thanks for listening to The James Golden Show. You can hear The James Golden Show Saturday mornings at 7. If you like the podcast, share it with your friends and listen anytime at WABCRadio.com and download the WABC Radio app. Hit that subscribe button on all major podcast platforms. Plus, follow WABC on social on Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, and X. See you next time for a new episode so you never have to wonder.
What the heck is going on here?